A throwback style finish for the throwback race. The 2024 Goodyear 400 had all the storylines throughout the race that make a race great. On-track battles, rivalries, and the chaotic ending, of course. In this video, I'm going to give my honest review of the 2024 Goodyear 400. We saw a typical race for Darlington with the next-gen car during the first two stages. Tyler Reddick led a bunch in those stages, but we saw some other drivers take their turns leading like Kyle Larson and others throughout the green flag pit stops. The race was still very entertaining in the first two stages, even with Reddick dominating. We saw different strategy calls that shook up the running order. People were short pitting, people were staying out late, so the order did get shaken up. Even though we didn't see a lot of passing on track, we did see it in the pits. There wasn't a lot of chaos in the sense of wrecks in the first two stages, although we did see some single car spins and a crash if you would consider it one when William Byron attempted to take Martin Truex Jr. and Ryan Blaney 3 wide, causing Blaney to tag the wall, and the field got bunched up behind them. Now, I don't think a caution should have came out for this, but honestly, the field probably was going to be too spread out, so I think it was the right call because that just would have let the top 5 just drive away for the rest of the race. It's going to be interesting moving forward with Blaney and Byron's feud because Ryan Blaney was not pleased. I thought he was going to pull a Days of Thunder move and just drive right into the 24 and crash him out of the race. And I can see this turning into a little on-track rivalry over the summer. I know they're good friends, but payback is due for the 24. I was a little shocked to see some drivers not running as well as they should have been at the beginning of the race based off of what their practice speeds were, but as the race progressed, they adjusted and began towards the front of the pack. Speaking of running towards the front, how about Justin Haley finishing in the top 10 for Rick Ware Racing? I called it in my prediction video. I said he would have his best finish of the year inside the top 15, and he gets a top 10 on speed. No luck, he drove to the front, and he stayed there. I'm excited to see what they can do moving forward. Also, I got Michael McDowell's prediction right. I said he would score top 15, and his teammate Todd Gilliland ran extremely well throughout the day, but the one car that was slow all day until the end was the 9 car. I don't know what they missed on, but I thought for sure he would contend for a win. He was basically in the back of the pack for most of the first two stages. He did get up towards the front, then had to go back to the back, and he ends up getting a top 15, but I for sure thought that the 9 car was going to compete to win. Then, of course, in the remaining laps of the race, we saw Brad Keselowski and Tyler Reddick battling it out side by side for multiple laps. This battle was great, but this allowed Chris Buescher to sneak by, and I really thought he was going to get the redemption from last week. Unfortunately, with 10 laps to go like we all saw, Tyler Reddick went for a slider, and he ended up crashing both himself and the 17 out of the race, handing the race to Brad Keselowski. Do I think the move Reddick made was fair? Sort of. I mean, yeah, you're racing for the win, and he's probably frustrated that he had the best car all day and wanted to get back in the lead, but I think he should have made that move with maybe 2 or 3 laps to go and not 10. It's borderline rubbing his racing. I talked about that in a video last week, so go watch that if you haven't. We've seen this type of racing at Darlington before, but Chris Buescher would probably never do that same move to Tyler Reddick or anybody, because Chris Buescher is an extremely clean driver. I think it was over-aggressive, but I understand what he was going for. Just gutted for Chris Buescher. 2 weeks in a row, he's been robbed out of a win. His win will come this year, and if it happens at Charlotte, that would actually be insane. Now let's talk about Brad Keselowski finally breaking his winless streak and getting Ford their first win of the season. Awesome to see Brad back in victory lane and the 6-car return to victory lane for the first time since 2011 with David Reagan. This is really special because for years, Roush Fenway was poorly performing, and now we're seeing strong performances out of both their cars and wins from both cars since Keselowski has taken over. This race kind of gives off vibes of like a final win for a driver. I'm not saying Brad's not going to ever win again, but this would be a fitting end if this was his final win, because it just gives off that old school driver winning at an old school track and breaking a long winless streak. Kind of like Terry Labonte's last win at Darlington in 2003. My overall rating for this race is a 9 out of 10. I think this race was very entertaining throughout each stage, and the final battle at the end made it even better. Stoked for Brad, and I'm excited to see how the rest of these storylines play out throughout the summer months and as the playoffs begin. So let me know what you guys thought of the race. Did you like it? Did you not? What was your favorite moment from it? Let me know also your favorite paint schemes, because I'll tell you what, I'm a little bummed that not every car does the throwbacks anymore, but let me know out of the few of them that did it, which one was your favorite. I appreciate you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.